Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards, and in this video I want to discuss the news about PSA. So PSA just announced a $15 grading service for the month of November as long as you have a membership with them. This membership is the Collectors Club membership. You actually have to pay a couple $100 a year to be a part of this with PSA, but when you do, you get access to specials like this. Last month was a TCG thing where it's $15 for Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever other TCG you want to submit, MetaZoo, whatever it was, and this year it's modern sports cards. So any card that was produced after 1996 up until now, so ultra modern, you can send to PSA for only $15 in the month of November. This is a really big deal. And I know it sounds silly. Everybody was saying gone are the days we'd ever get this low on grading, but I think this is a sign of things to come due to the overall economy and things that are happening. Less people are willing to spend money on grading because why would we? All of our cards are dropping. Why would we spend money with PSA when it costs so much? There's not an ROI there anymore. It doesn't make financial sense to do it if you want to sell your cards, but it's starting to make more sense for the average collector. Again, I'm no different. I had these cards, I have actually a whole stack of them, and these are included from the breaks I've been doing that have been wanting to go to PSA for a long time. And I've been a very big fan of SGC, and I love SGC, but this puts extreme pressure on them in particular, and BGS, I would say. But we'll get to them later. But in this special, you probably will get better rates through graders like KK Sports Cards or Nash Cards or a third party you can send through if you don't have a membership through the Collectors Club membership. If you want to sign up for the Collectors Club membership, I'm sure you can on PSA's website to access this special and future specials. So this raises the question, are there going to be lower costs in the future? I do not have a crystal ball. I'm not a psychic. Filmington did a great video on this recently, but I would say yes. I would say there are going to be lower rates. Who knows what that's going to be? They're lowering the price slowly, intentionally to see how much demand they actually have for their services right now. I'm sure it's lower now than ever. They're through their backlog from 2020, and they're trying to test the waters to see how much they can handle. And if they can actually handle this, I would not be surprised for $12 grading. That's where it sat for a while. And it used to be under $10 not that long ago, just a few years ago. And I think that is their goal because they want everybody to send to them. They're the premier grading company on the market. At least that's what the market has established, that the top dollar goes to PSA graded cards. For that purpose, I think they're in the best position to be okay through financial hardship, while SGC, BGS, and CSG might be in trouble. I think SGC will get out of it unscathed. I think they'll be okay personally just because of what they've really done recently. But let's discuss PSA and what this means. If you submit through this membership, you might be thinking your cards will be gone for another year and a half like it was in the past, but I bet you they're only going to be gone, as they're stated, 120 calendar days. That's what they say on the website. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit more than that, maybe a little bit less, depending on how much they actually receive, and you are required to send 10 cards minimum to do this feature if you have a Collectors Club membership. So I don't think that the actual number of cards at 10 card minimum is going to be a big deal. I'm sure we all have a ton of cards we've held over that didn't quite make sense. I have a Julio Rodriguez Future Foundations right here where it's worth $10 raw, but $100 in PSA 10. So why wouldn't I try at this point? It's only a $15 grading fee. If I actually get it and it gets a 9, I can still sell it for $30 and make a $5 profit. If it gets a 10, I just 10 times my money. And that's the whole thing with PSA that they do a great job of. So let's discuss SGC and BGS and CSG and what their role is. I think CSG will have a big role in the future of the hobby. I think they're going to gain momentum and traction somewhere along the way. I have no idea when or how, but I do see that happening. With BGS, they've continued to not really advance. They're lowering their prices right now, but they're still significantly higher, and the ROI is still significantly lower unless you pull a BGS 10. So unless BGS tries to change their scale a little bit, then I don't think they have a place in the market right now as much as they used to, and I love BGS. I've always been a BGS guy, but I am finding myself wanting to buy PSA 9s, basically for slightly less than a BGS 9.5, just because I have the opportunity to have a card that's much more liquid and people don't have to question subgrades and things like that on the open market. At the same time, there is the crack opportunity at the BGS 9.5. If you crack it open, you can send it to PSA and hopefully get a higher grade. But overall, I think those crossovers are few and far between and there's a lot of risk involved because if it gets in 9 or lower, you do lose money. But overall, BGS I think is in a little bit of trouble. SGC, they're going to continue to lower their pricing as well. I don't know if it'll be until the permanent price change of all graded cards from PSA, but it could be soon for $15 a card. The thing with SGC that they're still doing significantly better than PSA, and I want to call this out, is they're getting their cards back to you within a week. So if you want to get your cards sent to SGC and on the way back to you within a week, SGC is the right company to go with. PSA is still 120 days, about 3 to 4 months, maybe 4 to 5 months. So you're still waiting a long time, but again, the ROI is significantly higher. So there's a card that you just got and it's in good condition and you don't want to guarantee it's a PSA 10. You can't guarantee it's a PSA 10, but you think it's a 9.5 or a 10 from from SGC. You can get a lot more money out of that card by grading with SGC than you could waiting for PSA and so forth. So there are still opportunities for SGC, and I think they're really in a good place in comparison to the other two grading companies. I don't know see SG's turnaround times perfectly because I haven't used them, and I probably won't just because all of my other needs are met with these other three grading companies. But overall, PSA is making big moves, and PSA has grown so much. They graded, I believe, over 1 million cards last month, while SGC I think was like 100,000 or less. So it just shows that they're able to do such a high number and such a high volume for not just sports cards, but TCG and other different items that I think they're going to continue to grow and continue to lower pricing. I don't know when that's going to be. People have speculated by January it might be lower. People have speculated it might be later next year, but I think they're going to keep lowering the price as long as they can because they want to squeeze the market and put these other grading companies in a tough spot, and they're doing that right now. So overall, get your cards ready to be graded. If you want to sign up for the Collectors Club membership, go for it. If you want to send through a grading company like KK Sports Cards, I'm sure they'll have a cheaper price. Overall, enjoy sports cards. They're a blast, and enjoy getting your cards graded for PSA. I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.